Alright, well, welcome to Spring Flex, and this is the course outline. And what we're going to do in this course is we're going to actually first learn about installing the Tomcat server. The Tomcat server basically will enable you to put out what's called Java servlet pages and servlets. But we're going to use it in a different way than it was originally intended. We're going to use it as a backend for Flex. And then we're going to learn about what a JSP page is and what a servlet is and how you write those. And so you see lots of examples and you'll become experienced in those. And then we're going to learn about integrating Flex in Java and different ways to access data. And we're specifically going to be interested in a remoting technology called Blaze 3D. So we're going to learn how to install Blaze 3D. Okay. Now what remoting is as opposed to like XML where you transfer text across the line, you're actually going to just transfer bits across the line, and in some instances it's about 10 times faster. Okay, so from a database you can serve up 20,000 lines of code. 20,000 lines of data, no problem, very rapidly. So if you're interested in building like an e-commerce inventory system, then you're going to find that using remoting is just essential, especially as your database grows larger. So then we're going to look at working with Eclipse and Spring, and you're familiar with the Eclipse format, and thank God I taught it to you because everyone's using Eclipse now, and it's just wonderful. You can use Java in Eclipse, PHP in Eclipse, Python in Eclipse, just anything you want to program, you can do it in Eclipse and feel comfortable with the same IDE. Then we're going to learn how to do it the right way as far as configuring your files in Flex. We're going to learn how to externalize those config files so you don't end up running into trouble with security in the future. There's a lot of power now out in the cloud and working in the cloud, and as I mentioned with Amazon, you can actually, in a sense, serve up from Asia or serve up from any different parts in the world and do it rapidly right to your customers where they're at, so they can actually look at your data somewhat instantaneous. Finally, we're going to look at working with Flex, Hibernate, and Spring, and that's the technology we're going to be concentrating the whole time and kind of building a framework for that, and then getting you familiar with and working with the Spring and Hibernate technology. Basically, Spring is going to be a Java backend that's going to work that has a framework already built that allows you to do a lot of things very rapidly. Blaze DS talks to Spring. And there is now the Blaze DS Spring project, which allows you to actually do the messaging broker through Spring. And then also finally going to look at Hibernate, which allows you to automatically connect to those databases that you're interested in. So all that hand coding that we did back in PHP, you're going to find that you can do very rapidly and almost automatically in Hibernate. So very interesting stuff. I am going to also throw in a bonus lesson on JavaFX. What you're going to find is very similar to Flex. So we're going to do a comparison of JavaFX and Flex. So a little different than just the typical, hey, let's learn JavaFX, but you're going to see the relationship between the two. What you're going to find out, this is amazing. When we dropped off last time at Swing, we just left you hanging there. What happens now? How do I get this on the web? And why doesn't Java have something like Flex? And you're going to find out that it does, and it's called JavaFX. And as a matter of fact, the Java people are working quite a bit on that technology. In addition, I've suggested 4 follow-on courses right here, and one is going to be MVC. That's a microarchitecture called Model View Controller, very popular now. And if you want to scale your applications up, you just write a small application, you don't need it. But if you're talking about serving 50,000, customers, 100,000 customers, you need a nice scalable architecture, and you're looking at MVC. And there's several different types of MVC. When I first started with Flex, there was only one, and that was Cairngorm. And then pure MVC came along, and now you have stuff like Swizz and Mate, and every time you turn around there's a new MVC, which is wonderful because you can work with these and tailor them for what you're doing. Another one right here is you're going to go mobile. I would suggest that you do that next because we used to tell everyone, go global, right? And so we're trying to get everyone to go global. Now everyone's global. If you're not, forget it. But now we're telling everyone go mobile, because if you're not mobile, well, then you're going to really lose a large customer base. And so you want to learn all those applications that you build, your e-commerce system, and make it go mobile. And the nice thing about JavaFX is you can build an application or you can build a mobile application, which is great. So in a sense, Flex lags behind JavaFX in that sense, but they're gonna catch up. They're going to get that mobile ability into Flex you watch in the next iteration. So next after that, I would suggest by that time Molehill should be long the way and very healthy, and I would probably have written a lot of programs in it by then. And so I would suggest that you go 3D. And as I've said, you've heard me say it before, sex sells, but 3D sells as well. So if you don't want to degrade yourself by doing sex, you can actually enjoy doing 3D instead, and that's where I go. with 9 kids, you don't want to be doing sex advertising on the web. You'd prefer to do something that's, you know, wholesome and family friendly. 3D is that. Okay, finally, I would highly suggest that you do a Python course. And because Python's becoming very big on the web, and Google's just gobbling it up. They love it, and they've actually got full engines running in their Google Apps system using Python. Okay, and we haven't talked a whole lot like that, but there are some similarities between that and PHP, especially the inference typing. And when I say inference typing, is, you know, it's in Java that you have to actually declare the variable, you know, like string or number or integer or whatever, where, you know, PHP just kind of figured it out. Python 2, and what you're going to find in JavaFX, that also in JavaFX you have inference typing. So there you have it. So that's where we have it, and you're probably going to be asking, well, what is the heck is Spring and Flex? Adobe Flex has strong ties to Java, which includes the Eclipse-based IDE, which you use a lot, and BlazeDS, which is a remoting system. It's open source server-based Java remoting and web messaging technology. So, okay, in late 2008, the Spring community began working on what was called Spring BlazeDS integration. It's at the top of their list. They want to get basically Flex talking to Java. And they're using remoting to pass the information back and forth between Java servers and Flex. And they're using BlazeDS, and that's the integration project to add support for Flex development in Java and Spring. It's the hottest thing on the market right now. Will that change? Maybe. You know, technology is moving very rapidly. But as you gain the skills to do this stuff, you'll be ready to you know, move on to anything new that comes along. And that's the way the business is. You got to stay on top of it. And you have to be the expert. And it doesn't take long. Get in the front of the line, learn the newest stuff, because that will go get you the next job. Remoting means that you're transferring bits across the line, zeros and ones, as opposed to transferring text across the line. So it's about 10 times faster in some examples. And of course, you can get your Flex Spring 3 integration cheat sheet, and I sent you that, right, from DZone. Did you take a look at that? Okay. And then at that point, what we're going to do is, and that's just kind of an introduction to Flex Spring, and then we'll be getting all into that. But I also want to mention there are some other things that we're going to be pulling out here. So we're not going to just be doing Spring Flex. It's not just a tutorial about that, but we'll be pulling out popular Java technologies and you know, kind of putting a magnifying glass on them and making sure you get the basics of that, so when you see something, it doesn't, you know, say, hey, where did that come from? And what I'm really interested in doing is doing a comparison of JavaFX with Flex. Very similar technologies, and JavaFX you will see runs in the Eclipse environment, just as Flex does. And it's an API to make your UIs work seamlessly across different devices. And that's just beautiful. I'm actually going to bring that up and so you can see it real quick. And you've already installed JavaFX. Don't think we're going to be doing that today, but I imagine next time we might be taking a good look at that.